hello. Welcome to another episode of the GSMC Wrestling Laureate podcast brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. I'm your favorite wrestling fan here, Eric Rodriguez, every Monday night live at 8 p.m. Pacific Time, 11 p.m. Eastern Time, here to talk about the greatest thing in the world, professional wrestling. We talk about all the action inside and outside of the ring, of course. We talk about all the curtain calls, all the rumors, all the drama, contract negotiations among superstars. We also talk about, conspiracy theories, future storylines. We talk about the past, like WCW, also ECW, also those good old times back in TNA, also some Ring of Honor action as well. Hope you guys had a great weekend. I know, with this 1 day a week, broadcast, definitely miss you guys, 1,010%. Hope you guys, I don't know if any of you guys watched the the hockey classic, I guess it was, instead of the All-Star game. And it was actually pretty good. It's kind of cool to see fans actually get into it, Canada, United States on Thursday. That was it was a bloodbath. It was crazy. It was a nice finish, a nice little 3-2 finish. I started seeing memes on sports media outlets about, Canadians going crazy because of everything, of course, going on with the terror, but, it's not politics and all that. Here on this show, we talk about wrestling. They were pretty happy, which by all means, all power to them. That's awesome. That's cool. So, this makes people think that next year, moving forward for the NHL, we're all going to be, waiting on pins and needles to kind of, get our revenge, I guess you can, say. I'm not a huge hockey guy, I know, but like I said, I will listen to a lot of sports podcasts, ESPN, Fox Sports, a whole bunch of just different media outlets about the NHL, and some people got into it, which by all means that it was a huge success, which is super cool. All right, but this is a wrestling show, so we're going to talk about some good old-fashioned wrestling. Our first segment, we have some WWE SmackDown review. We have basically a bunch of reviews today. We have Monday Night Raw we're going to talk about in our second segment. Third segment, we're going to talk about TNA, also Ring of Honor. Fourth segment, we're going to talk about... What are we going to talk about? We're going to talk about Michael Cole. Michael Cole was recently on the Logan Paul podcast called Impaulsive. He says some pretty juicy stuff. Honestly, I'm a huge Michael Cole guy. I wish to become a play-by-play announcer, for Major League Baseball, NBA, NFL. WWE would be pretty freaking awesome. When it comes to announcers in sports, they literally, they do half the battle. And I know, the athletes are out there with the insane, crazy conditioning that they do, that they, put their bodies through to entertain, the fans. But just imagine, like kind of putting it in perspective. My first WWE event, I went there, and there was no announcing. There was nothing. It was just, the in-ring announcer, who did the introductions, the superstars inside the rings that were cutting promos, and then the theme songs and stuff like that, and they would play the ads. But it was crazy. It was insane. It was like a whole different take. Much like my first baseball game. I went to an Angels-Astros game back in, 2000 and... First baseball game, fudge, I think it was 2013. I think it was. And I was sitting in the bleachers, and I was like, damn, it's crazy because it's peaceful. But when something crazy happens, the fans get absolutely nuts. The NBA, I gotta be honest, whenever I go to a live basketball game, you don't really necessarily need the announcers in that kind of aspect of it. And the same goes for an NFL game. I can imagine. I've never been to an NFL game live. But, just basically talking about how important are, the announcers, on Monday Night Football, Joe Buck, Troy Aikman. Sunday Night Football used to be Al Michaels, Mike Tirico, but now it's Mike Tirico and, Chris Collinsworth, which is pretty badass. Thursday Night Football, Al Michaels, and why am I drawing blanks on names? Oh, my God, he's the college football guy. Oh, God, I think he recently lost a dog. That was pretty heartbreaking. Oh, my God, I can't believe I can't think of his name right now. But on Prime Video, Kirk Herbstreit. Damn it. Oh, my God, Kirk Herbstreit. Oh my God! I know the moment I stop thinking about things, then it all just comes back to me. But we're gonna talk about Michael Cole on Impaulsive, and then our fifth and final segment, we got some Thunder Rosa. I don't know about you guys, but I watched AEW Dynamite. Overall, you got the Hangman, Adam Page, MJF getting their feud going, get a little bit more in-depth in terms of, Adam Copeland and the Death Riders. And then you get this Chris Statlander taking on Megan Bayne. Megan Bayne's taken out by, Chris Statlander's taken out by Megan Bayne and Penelope Ford. She's about to get pulverized, but in comes the saving babyface with the steel chair, Thunder Rosa. And the moment she entered the ring, it was absolute chaos. It was just, it was kind of embarrassing. It was a little humiliating, and, it made Thunder Rosa look really, really stupid. And, thinking about maybe the backstage politics in AEW, because, I read an article recently saying that before AEW programming, Tony Khan, they don't have pre-production meetings anymore. So obviously maybe there was kind of a miscommunication. But we're going to get into that in our fifth and final segment. So let's going to jump on into our first segment. We got WWE Monday Night SmackDown. Just kidding. Friday Night SmackDown. I got too excited. I recently watched Raw. It was a decent episode. I kind of wanted it to be something a little bit more. But, hey, beggars can't be choosers. First and foremost, make sure you guys hit up that tips and donations link, whether if you got a burning question or a hot take in terms of the world of professional wrestling or just something you've been dying to get off your chest. We at the GSMC Sports Network are all ears. This show is all about keeping the conversation lively, making sure your voice is part of the mix, so don't be shy. Drop your thoughts inside that chat. And if you really want to make sure your comment, question, or concern gets noticed, why not use that little chat box right there? Smack that $sign right there, which is going to guarantee anything you guys put inside that little box. It's going to be featured, debated about, talked about, maybe even take place of a segment on this show, 1,010%. Plus, it's an awesome way to support the channel, guys. Here at the GSMC Sports Network, the Super Chats helps us keep the lights on and bring you even more awesome sports content that you guys love so damn much, and it's absolutely free. So, why not hurt throwing us a little bone here? No, I'm just kidding. Obviously, grateful. Super grateful for each and every one of you guys who joins us here daily on the GSMC Sports Network. Your support makes all the difference. So let's keep the conversation going. Let's get this party started. Send in those super chats, those super stickers, because you guys are super awesome, and together we will make sure this is the greatest wrestling show on earth. And if your super chat is not your thing, it's all good. Go ahead and hit up that tips and donations link at the GSMCpodcast.net. Tell me what you like, tell me what you don't like. Just remember to Superman punch that like and subscribe button to the show. Follow the show, follow the network. Here at the GSMC Sports Network, we do love a lot of peace, love, and positivity 1,010% of the time. But in terms of talking sports, it's inevitable. There's going to be some disagreements. There's going to be some criticisms. It's already water under the bridge. It's already gravy, baby. Don't even worry about it. Just want to make sure you guys feel absolutely comfortable sharing what you guys feel in the podcast. There are no wrong comments whatsoever. Just all we ask is just, stay respectful and just keep it fun. All right. So without further ado, we got SmackDown. First and foremost, Cody Rhodes walks into the building, finds out from general manager Nick Aldis that he has been pulled from the main event. Obviously, if you smell what I'm cooking, kind of reiterating about him and The Rock having a future beef in, future in the show. But, we'll get into that further on. We had Big Jim picking up a major victory against Drew McIntyre. To be honest, I was flabbergasted by this result with the roll-up. And, of course, Drew McIntyre hitting the attack after. And it was just classic Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre, I kind of like how WWE is, they're kind of holding Drew McIntyre as this heel figure. But in reality, everything that he's really, in his mind that is just, that he's fighting for, for some fans, even me included, like you think about it, like, man, you know what, to be honest, it kind of makes sense. Why are we rooting for Roman Reigns after everything he's done? And, has he really, came out and, formally apologized and stuff like that? No, he didn't. He's still on his high horse. He still thinks his S doesn't stink. Of course, once when Jimmy and Jay, when they were first starting to get together for Survivor Series, you had that promo backstage where Jay Uso was like, hey, you know what? I told you, if you ever talk to me like that again, we're through. And then, then he left, and then Jimmy Uso was like, hey, man, what are you doing? And Roman Reigns was like, you know what? Go get your brother. Go get your brother then. He didn't really seem like he was remorseful for anything he's done in the past. But, I guess that's the tribal chief. That's Roman Reigns, I guess. Solo Sikoa arrives backstage. Jakob Fatu, honestly, looking like he does not love Solo Sikoa anymore. He's not that Solo Sikoa that you used to know. I'm just kidding. So Solo Sikoa obviously looking like he is not in charge anymore, which is great. Which is great because Solo Sikoa, he's been kind of at the helm of this new young bloodline storyline for so long. And the moment Jakob Fatu entered the WWE, it wasn't like, Solo Sikoa. No, it wasn't like Jacob needed Solo. It was to a point where Jakob Fatu, was outshining Solo Sikoa to the point where I was like, you know what? I feel like the reason why they're kind of holding off on this Jakob Fatu debut is because, Solo's not, he's not entirely like a main main event kind of guy yet in the perspective of the wrestling fan and the WWE universe. But, ever since Jacob came in, he's done nothing in the world of WWE. He's been absolutely phenomenal. He's been great. So there's not really much to, kind of further, kind of debate about that. Like who should be the tribal chief? Obviously, Solo Sikoa, he was in way over his head. And now, you had The Rock come in. Obviously, we're going to talk about it a little later on in the segment here. But, you didn't really have this the final boss come and talk to Solo Sikoa. Didn't see him really communicate with the bloodline here. Not Big Jim, not Tama Tonga, not Jacob. So I don't know. It doesn't really seem like this whole bloodline storyline and the Rock thing is going to kind of take its future, per se. But I at the end of the day, I feel like it will all kind of come to fruition where we will have The Rock taking on Roman Reigns finally, what everybody's been waiting for. Honestly, I don't really care if The Rock takes on Roman Reigns, and I know a lot of WWE fans are like, dude, what are you talking about? Are you crazy right now? You have the the Inoue family, the Fatus, the Usos, and it's for me, it's not really a big deal to me, so I feel like maybe WWE is kind of on my wavelength here where it's like, you know what? Roman versus Rock, we can probably string this along. We can make it happen. They didn't force anything heading into WrestleMania 41 Las Vegas, which I was kind of happy about. I was super happy that The Rock didn't just come out and start, throwing people's elbows at Solo Sikoa, Tama Tonga, Jakob Fatu, and challenge Roman Reigns for the Ulafala at WrestleMania. Obviously, still up in the air. There's a lot. There's like 4 or 5 weeks more. No, there's more than that. I think 7 weeks until WrestleMania. If that's the way it wants to go, it's all going to depend on what Cody Rhodes is going to say. But we'll talk about that later in the segment. So next we have Zelina Vega. We have a nice little promo video talking about a absolute fresh start, which is something that is needed, which is something that is great because Zelina Vega would be I feel like she'd be a way better United States Women's Champion than Chelsea Green. Not hating on Chelsea Green whatsoever. I just love the animosity. I love the intensity. I love the fact that, Zelina Vega, whenever she comes inside the ring, you look at the size, like, man, I'm not a believer. You look at some of the ways, some of the style that she wrestles inside the ring, you're kind of like, you know what? It could be a little bit better. But the thing that people admire the most about Zelina Vega is her, I'm not going to take crap from anybody kind of attitude. When she took on Rhea Ripley, I think it was in Puerto Rico, which was actually pretty damn emotional. She was, filled with tears. She was upset because she felt like she let her country down. But in reality, her country was absolutely proud of her. Who could ever kind of step up to mommy like that, have that match inside the ring? At that time, the Judgment Day was at its full rise with Damian Priest and Rhea Ripley as the leaders. So nobody was going to be able to step in front of that freight train and take the bullet. Zelina Vega was woman enough to kind of walk in there and just be like, I don't give a damn who you are. I'm going to go in there and try to get mine. I'm going to try to win the championship. I'm going to prove that I am worthy. I'm going to do my best in front of the people that I absolutely love, adore. Obviously, she represents a lot of her country, inside her, inside her persona in WWE. So I'm happy to see Zelina Vega, get back into it, totally hit it straight on. Congratulations. Hope she does good. R-Truth And the LA Knight tag team against Carmelo Hayes and The Miz. Mellow Miz picks up the victory, which was pretty shocking to me. But obviously comes with the expense of the WWE United States, the men's champion Shinsuke Nakamura, who has been, ever since winning the championship, I love the fact that, the way he debuted back in WWE, he kind of brought like a New Japan Professional Wrestling, like an across seas style wrestling back into his like arsenal. And ever since then, he's been, cutting, not really, I can't even say cutting promos. I can't even say that with a straight face. I feel like at this time, and I'm not trying to be, a cynic. I'm not trying to be like a jerk or anything like that. And I'm not trying to hate on Shinsuke Nakamura. But maybe we've seen Shinsuke Nakamura in this WWE mainstream poppy bubblegum spotlight to the point where it's like, you know what? Maybe his character can't be revived. You know what I mean? Like, the championship is on Shin. Shinsuke Nakamura, although, he's an impressive individual. But what people want out of the WWE United States Championship, or, scratch that, what people want from championship holders in WWE is a little flair. And you're not really going to get that from Shinsuke Nakamura, And I think about it, and I'm like, you know what? At the same time, the NXT World Champion, Obafemi, he's from Nigeria, obviously, internationally, and he has flair. He has flair, and it's, you also have the NXT Women's Champion, Julia, obviously from Stardom, a Japanese wrestler as well, like Shinsuke Nakamura, and, I know there's language barriers there, and, by all means, that should never, absolutely never, ever be like a building block, or should never, ever kind of be like a point of being like, okay, we can't put a title on this person because they don't speak the language. That should definitely never be the case. But as of right now, I'm just like, it's nothing against their talent. Like I said, nothing against them. Nothing against their nationality. Nothing against the language that they speak. I feel like, honestly, Julia is doing it a lot better than Shinsuke Nakamura is at this point. And it's going to be interesting to see how Stephanie Vaquer handles it as the NXT Women's North American Champion. Like I said, I loved when Shinsuke Nakamura came back, but maybe I'm just a little bit too blinded by the, the pop that the LA Knight brings. Maybe the pop that Carmelo Hayes brings. The pop that, I love Andrade too. I love Andrade. I love Santos Escobar. There's a lot of men that I'm like, dude, these guys can challenge for United States Championship right off the bat. Even The Miz, The Miz is getting, he's getting a little up there. He's getting a little old. But, the way he made that WWE Intercontinental Championship prestigious, once when you had Brock Lesnar kind of be the Universal Champion on Monday Night Raw and basically never freaking show up. The way he made the Intercontinental Championship kind of seemed like it was the main card championship. It was admirable, and I would love to see The Miz back into that situation, into like title contention. But the WWE Men's United States Championship is still up in the air, obviously, and I can't wait to see how it kind of comes out. Well, okay, so we have Tiffany Stratton. Tiffany Stratton talks about being the top girl in WWE. She's showing guts. She's definitely showing guts. Nia Jax, obviously getting the interruption. Then we have Stratton take on Candice LeRae. And, the match was a little... Charlotte Flair sat ringside, and, then you saw, Tiffany Stratton after the match starting to get pounded. Trish Stratus tries to make the save, but, then they both get pulverized by Nia Jax. Charlotte Flair takes the ring and, of course, points to the WrestleMania sign, standing over a breathless, standing over an incapacitated Tiffany Stratton. So I thought that was pretty crazy. We had a backstage rumble between Damian Priest and Cody Rhodes, which I absolutely loved. I thought that was pretty badass. I definitely loved the fact that Braun Strowman basically saying that, hey, honestly, me and you are out here, we're handling business. And Damian Priest is like, but I beat you. I was the ultimate opportunistic person last SmackDown, obviously taking advantage of Jakob Fatu after Solo Sikoa got involved in that main event. That triple threat match to determine that last spot in the men's Elimination Chamber match heading into Saturday. Then we had Naomi take on Liv Morgan. There was a sneak attack. No match whatsoever. Bianca Belair was laid out. Naomi was officially laid out, and as you saw on Monday Night Raw, but obviously talking about SmackDown, you never knew that they were going to drop the titles. But maybe you did. Maybe you did. I love Liv Morgan. I love Raquel Rodriguez, honestly, after what happened tonight. On Monday Night Raw, I kind of figured that, now it kind of seems like Liv Morgan doesn't have to be immersed into that title picture anymore. But, maybe she might win the Elimination Chamber. Maybe. She's had one hell of a year so far. Chelsea Green, talking about how she has this brand new outfit. She wants a special opponent for at Elimination Chamber, I think it was. Or it was next week on SmackDown. I'm not too sure. But, I want her to defend her title at Elimination Chamber. Next, we have The Rock coming out talking about how New Orleans will be the host of WrestleMania 42. He came out as a babyface. Rocky chants reigned all over the arena. Dropping the censored language. It was kind of crazy. The Rock straight. Honestly, I gotta be honest. The Rock was kind of looking straight bipolar out there. He was a heel. He was a babyface. He was a heel. He was a babyface. He was a heel. He was a babyface. I really couldn't. I couldn't put my mark on it. I really, honestly, I feel like he did walk out there. Didn't really know what to. Really. I feel like he was winging it, and I know I could be 1,010% wrong, but I feel like he was winging it. I feel like he was out there trying to gauge what was happening, and even like you look at Cody Rhodes' expression after everything that is being said. He looks like he was looks like he's about to cry. Looks like he's about to cry. The Rock is mentioning my family and how my family could be better, because if you're talking to a working man here in America, well, scratch that, all over the world, in any kind of culture, in any kind of country, if you talk to a person about giving them a certain spot in your, in your business, whether it's wrestling, whether it's professional or, fast food, whatever, a restaurant, if you tell them, hey, I'm going to take care of you, I'm going to make sure you're well paid, I'm going to make sure your kids and your family are going to be safe, they're going to be wealthy, they're going to have the best health care, they're going to live in the best spots, the safest neighborhoods, the most prestigious schools. For me, if some guy ever came up to me and asked me that, hands down, I would look at the fans, I would look at basically anything from like an outside perspective. And I'd be like, you know what? I'm sorry. Like, when you have kids and when you start a family, you kind of look at yourself in the mirror. You're like, you know what? This life isn't about me anymore. The best thing about me is these kids, my wife, and how I can make their lives easier. Just in case something happens. You know what I mean? Because, tomorrow's never promised. So Cody Rhodes is stuck with a hardcore decision. If I was stuck in Cody Rhodes, is obviously The Rock telling that he wants Cody's soul. He wants them to become super duper close. He doesn't want to be a champion. He does not want to be a champion. He thinks Cody Rhodes is a great champion. Mama Rhodes, Mama Rock, talking, BSing, having drinks, having a good ass time. I want you to be my champion. I want you to be my champion. And Cody's like, well, you know what? I'm their champion. And then The Rock straight up told him, he was like, you know what? You stood up to me. You slapped me in the face when me and Roman wanted to take over WrestleMania, the main event, what everybody wanted to see. I'm giving you until the Elimination Chamber in Toronto. And give me your decision there. I want your soul. Will Cody turn heel? Is The Rock taking his soul necessarily going to make Cody turn heel? Obviously that's the question. Not too sure, but it's like, Cody Rhodes has literally faced everybody, in terms of, heel versus babyface. He's been a babyface for 3 long years. A superstar like that, you look at Drew McIntyre, who was a babyface for about 2.5 years. Then he came back, now he's a heel now. And, a lot of back and forth, that's what wrestling's all about. So it would surprise me if Cody Rhodes turns heel, here. But yeah, Pretty Deadly, they lose their chance at the WWE Tag Team Championships against DIY. Thanks to the Street Profits, then the Motor City Machine Guns get involved in the athletic abilities of these competitors. Every single one of them, from Johnny Gargano, Tommaso Ciampa, Pretty Deadly, Montez Ford, everybody. Absolutely all 4 of these tag teams, even Los Garza, they would be amazing in a ladder match for those tag team titles, or better, Elimination Chamber tag team match for those championships would be pretty badass. Kevin Owens talks crap in a promo. Will Cody Rhodes sell out? Obviously, let me know in the chat if you guys think so. Jakob Fatu, Solo Sikoa take on Braun Strowman and Damian Priest. Jacob, once again, he loses. Jacob seems like, when he comes out at the beginning of the match, he's like, you know what, hit my music. Solo Sikoa's kind of like, will he fall in line? Will he actually support Jakob Fatu? Who knows? We'll find out. It wouldn't, I don't know if they're gearing up a Jakob Fatu versus Solo Sikoa match at Mania 41, but, should be interesting. All right, guys, hey, don't go anywhere. We're going to talk about our WWE Monday Night Raw recap. So grab your favorite snack, grab your favorite ice cold beverage, and join me here in this next segment. So don't go absolutely anywhere.
I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign.
I wanna be the greatest. Everybody on the fake shit. I look around and feel like everybody is the fakest. I make this every day and I'm impatient, hoping one day I blow up from the basement. Statement, the top is so vacant. I don't hear shit that I think is amazing. Waiting for my day when I'm playing sold out shows for 1,000 faces. Hey, give me that crown, get in my way and to be put down. It ain't your place, all this my town. If I want that shit, then I'll get it right now. I'm losing it, the noose it fits, some losing shit, a stupid myth. You choose to live or choose to dip, you choose to fight or lose your grip and lose a gift.
I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind?
And we are back with the GSMC Wrestling Laureate podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. I'm your favorite wrestling fan here, Eric Rodriguez, every Monday through Friday. Uploading videos every Monday night. We are live on the GSMC Sports Network to talk about the greatest thing in the world, professional wrestling. We talk about all the action inside and outside the ring, backstage curtain calls, all the rumors, all the drama, all the updates. We talk about contract negotiations, extensions, and new signings amongst superstars. We talk about promotions from Stardom to New Japan Professional Wrestling to WWE to Ring of Honor to TNA to AEW to GCW to the NWA. If it makes major news in the world of professional wrestling, we talk about it here on this show. 1,010%, so make sure you guys Superman punch that like and subscribe button so you guys can get notifications when we publish some videos. So, recently, we talked about in our segment, we talked about SmackDown. Now we're going to talk about some WWE Monday Night Rawlins. I'm just kidding, Monday Night Raw. We're going to talk about Monday Night Raw, but of course, before we get on into any of that, just want to remind you guys, if you got a burning question or a hot take in terms of the world of professional wrestling, or just something you've been dying to get off your chest here at the GSMC Sports Network, just know that we are all ears, 1,010%. This show is all about keeping the conversation going, making sure you guys feel like you are part of the mix, so don't be shy to drop your thoughts inside that chat. Hit up that super chat, hit up that $sign. Anything you guys put inside the little chat box is going to be guaranteed to be featured on the show, talked about, debated about, maybe even take place of a segment. If it's that 1,010% juicy, can't wait to see what you guys have to say. Send in your message. It's also a great way to support the channel, support all these amazing sports podcasters who have one goal in mind, to make sure you guys consume all the amazing sports content that we offer here on the GSMC Sports Network. And guess what? It's absolutely 1,010% FR free. So honestly, what do you have to lose? Hit up the, make sure you Superman punch that like and subscribe button to the show. We are super grateful for each and every one of you guys who joins us here daily on the GSMC Sports Network. Your support makes all the difference. So let's keep this party going. Send in those super chats, those super stickers. because you guys are super awesome, and together we'll make sure this is the best damn wrestling podcast in the entire world. But of course, if the super chat is not your thing, go ahead and hit up that tips and donations link at the GSMCpodcast.net. Tell me what you like, tell me what you don't like. Just remember to Superman punch that like and subscribe button to the show. Follow the network here at the GSMC Sports Network. We do love a lot of peace, love, and positivity, 1,010%. But in terms of talking sports, it's inevitable. There's going to be some disagreements. There's going to be some criticisms, and don't worry, I don't take anything personally whatsoever. It's all whatever you guys have to say. It's already water under the bridge, baby. It's already gravy. Don't even worry about it. Just want to make sure you guys feel absolutely comfortable sharing anything what you guys have to say, anything you guys believe. There are no such thing as a bad take, guys. No such thing as a bad take. Absolutely not. So feel comfortable to say whatever you guys want. All right, let's talk about some Monday Night Raw. I kind of went deep on my WWE SmackDown preview. I think that was plus 20 minutes. I apologize for that, but it's pretty heavy stuff. So Monday Night Raw, we started off, we had Logan Paul kicking off Raw, and of course he starts talking trash to his not really hometown people because he's from Cleveland, but obviously we are in the Queen City of Cincinnati, Ohio. Not a lot of people took fancy of what Logan Paul really had to say about, landing his jet, looking out the window, seeing a lot of sorry-ass people. I want to turn my plane around. It was like, dude, really? Really, bro? So then he had a conversation with CM Punk in the middle of the ring. CM Punk basically telling Logan Paul, hey, honestly, kid, keep your mouth shut. I am Satan. And you are nobody. And you are absolutely nobody. And Logan Paul obviously looking like he took some hardcore offense that he slaps the taste out of CM Punk's mouth. And I got to be honest, I was kind of a little upset that Seth Rollins didn't join the fray, especially after the history between Rollins and CM Punk and and Logan Paul as well. Some bad blood there. Next, we have a triple threat match. We had Ludwig Kaiser taking on Penta El Cero Miedo and Pete Dunne. This was a non-title triple threat match, which is basically, kind of rare in the world of professional wrestling. I hated that Ludwig Kaiser kept grabbing the mask of Penta because it's basically it's internationally well known around like Lucha Underground, around the CMLL, basically around the world of professional wrestling, that Penta he's never been unmasked. He's a man of mystery all over, the world. He was Kaiser, so disrespectful. But to be honest, that's his gig. That's exactly what he was trying to do. So if his hope was getting a rise out of the wrestling fans, he did it. I'm just kidding, no. But in all seriousness, 1,010%, Ludwig Kaiser picks up the victory. But did WWE really have to do a triple threat match for Penta to receive his first loss in WWE? Maybe. I'm just kidding. No, but I feel like now this kind of not puts Penta keeps him grounded because he was undefeated and WWE was like, oh crap, we don't want fans to kind of see this guy as like someone who's absolutely unbeatable because when he loses. And I don't think he's ready for an Intercontinental Championship shot. I don't think he's ready just yet. Definitely not World Heavyweight Championship ready. So he has a couple of months ahead of him. A couple of long, hard months ahead of him until he gets a title, or before he gets a title shot. So, he's going to have to lose some matches. So I feel like this was WWE's way of kind of implementing, the fact that, Penta, he's been undefeated in WWE and he's been basically running a buzzsaw all over the locker room, but he bleeds, so he's going to be able to lose. So definitely thought this was a huge match. This was a big win for Ludwig Kaiser. Definitely young rising star, and it's gonna be great. It's gonna be great. Then we had Rhea Ripley speaking to Jackie Redmond about her title defense at Io Sky next week on Monday Night Raw in Buffalo, New York. I guess the last time they faced each other was 5 years ago, which is crazy, and I think Io Sky picked up the victory. I do feel that Rhea Ripley, this match between Rhea and Io Sky will ultimately, I feel like it's going to be interfered with. And when I say it's going to be interfered with is because I feel like Io is main event worthy. 1,010%. The person who wins the Elimination Chamber, she's going to... I feel like that's the reason why they had the match after Elimination Chamber, because it's going to be somebody who wants to take the title off of Rhea herself. But since Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez, the huge spoiler alert, dethroned Bianca Belair and Naomi for those World Women's Tag Team titles, I thought it was going to be Liv, and then she was going to be in the match. Maybe that might, make some sense. But I'm not too sure. But I do have the confidence. I'm confident to believe that we're going to get a triple threat match. I want to see, Liv Morgan get involved and, basically beat the hell out of Io Sky and be like, you know what? No one's going to take the title off of Rhea Ripley except for me. And that's going to be, kind of a nice way to implement a triple threat match at WrestleMania. And, I feel like Rhea Ripley's going to come out the victor. There's been speculation saying that one of these girls will fall out of the Elimination Chamber match, and either Becky Lynch or Jade Cargill will get a shot and win the Elimination Chamber, but still that's, highly, still up in the air. Not too sure how that's going to, work out, especially after everything that happened, tonight. But I know, kind of crazy. The New Day take on the LWO, and, the New Day, full-blown heels. And I got to be honest, I love absolutely every second of it. The more and more they win, I feel like they're gonna string up a couple of wins and eventually be in title contention. And if you think about the World Tag Team division on Monday Night Raw, it's not really that prestigious. It's not really that much of a pop. You have the War Raiders, you have the New Day, you have the LWO, you have American Made. I feel like American Made's probably the next ones in line. But, with the Judgment Day especially kind of falling out, I don't believe anybody is suitable to hold these tag team titles more than the New Day. I would love to see this New Day, become champions one day because, it'll piss everybody off, absolutely piss everybody off. Every promo they cut, since they dissed Big E on Monday Night Raw, it's, I feel like it'd be great. I feel like it'd be great for WWE to kind of just have a different taste of the tag team titles. Like, I know you had Finn Balor and JD McDonough, obviously, the Judgment Day, they were heels. But, they weren't really vocal. They weren't really, they defended their titles, like 2 or 3 times. And it was terrible. It was a debacle. It was awful. Absolutely awful. So if you have this New Day come in, Xavier Woods, Kofi Kingston, willing to do absolutely anything to win these titles and to defend them and to retain them, I would absolutely love to see them have the titles, instead of the War Raiders. I do love myself some War Raiders, I gotta be honest. But they're just too big, they're too bad, they're too dominant, they're too, unpredictably winners. You know what I mean? Do you ever expect the War Raiders to lose in a fair fight against basically anybody? No, you don't, because, Eric and Ivar are these two behemoths of men in the tag team division. So I feel like to kind of add a little bit of, pizzazz to the tag team division on Monday Night Raw, I feel like you got to put the titles on Woods and, Kofi Kingston. That'd be pretty badass. Finn Balor backstage, obviously, talking crap to Dominik Mysterio and, blaming him for the Judgment Day failures. Dominik Mysterio once believes and will always believe that they need to add a new member. I feel like they will. I feel like ultimately maybe they will kick Finn out. But as of right now, I don't really know a suitable choice besides maybe Bronson Reed. Bronson Reed would probably be the best for a new Judgment Day affiliate, and then maybe some way, somehow, along the way, you have him help Finn Balor win a match, win the Intercontinental Championship, and then all of a sudden Finn Balor's like, you know what? Maybe you were right, Dom. Maybe you were right. Maybe, we need to add this guy. And then, bam, match made in heaven, they kind of fill in that little spot there. But honestly, it's still up in the air. It's still up in the air. Obviously, you had Finn Balor blaming Liv and Raquel Rodriguez for the attack on Jade. And then, Liv was kind of like, even if we did or we didn't really care. Which makes people to believe that they probably did not do it, which is, pretty crazy. Pretty damn crazy. We had an Intercontinental Championship match. The Women's Intercontinental Championship match, Lyra Valkyrie convincingly defeated Dakota Kai in a decent match. I personally thought Ivy Nile was going to get involved in the fray in the middle of the match, but at the end of the match, it's that kind of makes up for it, I guess. But something had to be done. Something about these women's titles, the mid-card titles. They don't really have any teeth to it. Don't really have much more of a storyline. So when Ivy Nile lost that number one contendership match to Dakota Kai last week on Monday Night Raw, I was like, oh my god, this is awful. This is terrible booking. Not a WWE fan anymore. This is over. I'm just kidding. No. But ultimately, it was all right. It was all right. Ivy Nile needs to win the championship. I got to be honest. We need to see them win. We need to see her win because she's very gifted inside the ring and because she can absolutely hold that title with prestige. She could be that face that everybody hates, the Pitbull, with her hairstyle, with her, bootleg Ronda Rousey. I'm just kidding. No, I'm just kidding. No, but Ivy Nile, she's pretty gifted. She's pretty awesome. Definitely think that she'd be absolutely in a formidable WWE Women's Intercontinental Championship. Hopefully she never sees this and comes over to my house to kick my ass. Just kidding. Moving on. We had Braun Breaker taking on Dominik Mysterio. The match ends in a no decision. Judgment Day obviously gets involved, but Braun Breaker is absolutely pissed off. Backstage, you see the War Raiders attack American Made, obviously, stating that their feud is not over yet. So the American Made, Brutus and Apollo? No. Damn it. Whatever. The Creed brothers are going to get another shot. Cody Rhodes and is confronted in the middle of the ring by Seth Rollins, talking about Seth Rollins basically told Cody Rhodes, I don't want to hate you, bro. I don't want to hate you. And then Cody Rhodes is like, you know what? Maybe your soul has been compromised from all the hate. You were my shield at WrestleMania. You were the MVP of WrestleMania night 1 and night 2. And Seth Rollins obviously telling Cody Rhodes, like, look, man, I sold my soul once. Obviously, obviously he was alluding to when he took the offer from Triple H to be a big, bright star of the Authority, and he very much was. He had his 15 minutes of fame, burned a crap ton of bridges along the way, and after all of it, he was screwed over. In that, once when Finn Balor got injured and he had to relinquish the WWE Universal Championship, you had that match. I think it was a fatal 5-way, I think it was. And then Triple H comes out. Seth Rollins is super happy because he's here to protect me. He's here to, I'm going to be the champion. I'm going to be the champion. And then all of a sudden he pedigrees him. Bam, Kevin Owens gets a 1, 2, 3. Seth Rollins, with the knife stabbed in his back. But then again, he ultimately did deserve it. So, he's probably warning Cody Rhodes, like, you know what? At the end of the rainbow, you're not going to see a pot of gold. You might hold a piece of gold along the way, but at the end of it, you're going to end up with no friends. You're going to end up with, with all by yourself, stuck with the mistakes you've made in the past that you regret. And he was kind of saying that. Seth Rollins was kind of basically, not apologizing for everything that he's done in the past, like with the whole, Roman Reigns. Honestly, with Dean Ambrose as well. Like, I feel like he was kind of alluding to a little bit of Dean, and all the Shield. So, I thought that was a good promo. I definitely love the way that Seth Rollins did that. Heading into Elimination Chamber, it would be absolutely crazy to find out if he wins. I thought that, everything that's been going down around I was going to say the league, like I'm talking about the NFL. Everything that's going around the locker room in WWE is that we have no idea who's going to win that Elimination Chamber match. I can't even put my finger on it. I looked up an online site. It's called SmackDown Hotel. I was looking up, main events in WrestleMania, ever since they started implementing 2 nights. And, all of a sudden I just see John Cena on there. Like, John Cena, I was like, what? That's crazy. It says John Cena TBD. And I was like, so John Cena going to win the Elimination Chamber match? Maybe, maybe not. Is Jey Uso versus Gunther going to be a night 2 main event or a night 1? It's... Because if CM Punk wins, I would love to see him take on Cody Rhodes. I feel like that would be a nice little, heel versus babyface. If during the match you see Cody go rogue, get dirty, and then use brass knucks or something like that to pick up the victory, like that would be absolutely astronomical. But it's still, I don't know. Like I said, it's still up in the air. We don't know. And at the end of the match, or at the end of the night, we had the women's world tag team titles. They changed hands. I'm kind of happy about it. I'm kind of getting over this Naomi and, Bianca Belair. I feel like all three of those girls, Belair, Cargill, and Naomi, need to step into the singles division 1,010%. I feel like that is, I feel like that's great. They both definitely need that. All three of them definitely need to win a singles championship. Dirty Dom got involved. First time ever. We have a 3-time women's world tag team champions. Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez. Huge round of applause. Naomi was pinned, by the way. I'm just kidding. Not that means anything. Of course not. Doesn't mean anything. But, I don't know, maybe weak link, the glow. I'm just kidding, no. Moving on. All right, our next segment, guys, we got TNA Impact. We're going to talk about some Ring of Honor when we come back. So grab your favorite snack, grab your favorite ice cold beverage, and join me here in about 25 seconds. So, hey, do not go absolutely anywhere.
Looking for your daily fix of sports talk without having to pay for it? GSMC Sports Network is available on YouTube. Just search GSMC Sports Network. Get your fix of daily sports talk shows on YouTube, absolutely free. NFL, college football, NBA, MLB, MMA, UFC, fantasy football, and so much more. GSMC Sports Network has shows running all day long, with new sports shows starting every 2 hours. Just like on your favorite cable sports channel, except GSMC Sports Network is absolutely free. Just search GSMC Sports Network on YouTube to catch one of your new favorite shows, like the GSMC College Football Podcast, Chip Shot Football Podcast, Hoops and Heels Women's Sports Podcast, GSMC Basketball Podcast, and so many more. Check it out for yourself. GSMC Sports Network, now available on YouTube absolutely free. Search GSMC Sports Network on YouTube right now.
All right, and we are back with the GSMC Wrestling Laureate podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. I'm your favorite wrestling fan here. Every Monday night live on the GSMC Sports Network. Talk about the greatest thing in the world, professional wrestling, 8 p.m. Pacific time, 11 p.m. Eastern time. Here to talk about some good old-fashioned wrestling. So make sure you guys Superman punch that like and subscribe button to the show. All right, just kind of reflect on what we talked about right quick. We had our WWE SmackDown review. Now we talked about Monday Night Raw. And without further ado, we're going to jump into the ring of TNA Impact and the world of Ring of Honor. So let's go ahead and do it. I'm going to go ahead and bring up some notes right quick. Let's go and start off with some TNA Impact. So, of course, we had TNA. Joe Hendry came out with an Encore Championship concert, which is great. I gotta be honest, I do love myself some Joe Hendry. Say his name and he appears. I believe in Joe Hendry. If you didn't clap your hands, you're a disgrace to the world. I'm just kidding. No. Moving on. Joe Hendry was interrupted by the Colognes making their TNA debut. Eddie and Orlando Colon are about to deliver a 2-on-1 assault to Joe Hendry when lights go out, and it's Elijah. Obviously, if you don't know who Elijah is, it's Elias. Oh my God, what was his main thing in WWE? We want Elias? No. God, what was it? WWE stands for, Walk with Elias. What does WWE stand for? Walk with Elias. And you know what? That's a babyface. I gotta be honest, Elias was pretty good. Pretty damn good. I got, definitely, love seeing him in WWE, obviously, as a babyface. But, as a heel, it was a little stale. I think he was with the running crew of, when Dolph Ziggler and, Drew McIntyre were Raw Tag Team Champions. I think he was, part of the little, band of, hooligans. But, it's kind of cool to see Elijah come back. I definitely knew that he was going to make it back to WWE. And when I say that, is like when he signs with TNA, be like, hey, you know what? We have a partnership with WWE NXT. You have a shot if you want it. Because Elias, on his way out of WWE, he had his twin brother Ezekiel. The storyline, it was buyable. It was very. He was a likable, Ezekiel was a likable, subject. He was a likable, face at the time. He just basically went clean cut. It was kind of funny. No, but he was actually very elusive. He was very elusive, very electrifying. I love Ezekiel. I would, definitely would love to see him come back to, WWE or see him make a TNA debut instead of this guy, Elijah. What's with the E, though? I got to be honest. That's, kind of crazy. Director of Authority, Santina Marella, keeps the surprise going. Tonight's main event is going to be Joe Hendry and Elijah taking on the Colognes. Hendry and Elijah join forces for an epic concert, which is look at the highlights. It's actually pretty damn cool. So Gia Miller interviews Leon Slater, who was confident as he prepares for a battle with JDC. I love Leon Slater. I really honestly hope that he is going to be a future, NXT. He's going to be a future X Division champion. He definitely has all the know-how. He has all the know-how. I feel like he deserves it more than Moose, of the system. But it was kind of cool to see Moose on NXT on Tuesday, representing the system and JDC. But, I want the X Division to be like, maybe I'm too attached to this idea that X Division superstars are kind of like, I kind of compared them to like cruiserweights on steroids or something like that. Like when you think of X Division, you think of back then with Christopher Daniels, with AJ Styles and like Jay Lethal, and like now it's not really that way anymore. And I feel like it kind of cripples a lot of these superstars who could definitely be in that picture. Next, we have the Rascals battle NXT's Tyson and Tyreek. I was happy to see the Rascals win. I got to be honest, with Ace Austin. Wesley, I'm not digging the hairdo. I'm not digging the wardrobe change. I feel like he would have made more of an impact inside of NXT and TNA if he just would have stayed the same. But then again, just come off a little bit more cocky than he actually is. But the fact that I feel like, not that he's trying too hard. I'm not going to say that about Wesley. Not that he's trying too hard to be this total heel, to be this total arse. But I don't know. I just, I wanted to see him eventually kind of get back into that NXT North American, division as a babyface. Maybe I'm just so upset about, how he turned his back on, Trey Miguel and Zachary Wentz. Maybe I'm just still upset with that. But, Tyson and Tyreek and Wesley get the L. It's cool to see my boy Ace Austin and the Rascals get into the win column, which is pretty bad-ash. All right, so next we have Lei Ying Lee defeat Rosemary, and Rosemary once again, getting back into that loss column. I kind of thought Rosemary was like on her way up to like into bigger, better, like brighter future. But it seems like she kind of fell off a little bit on TNA. Obviously, she could definitely bounce back. She kind of has that. It feels like a lot of her career has been kind of like up and down. 1 minute she strikes like lightning. Some minutes she sinks like quicksand. Not too sure, but, Rosemary, obviously, after the match, getting her due diligence, spraying mist into the eyes of Lee. So, she's blinded with green mist. What's up with this green mist nowadays? It's, kind of crazy. All right, so the Northern Armory, obviously, their leader, Eric Young, after defeating Josh Alexander in his farewell match last week, Young claims that Judas Icarus and Travis Williams were pawns under Josh Alexander's leadership, but under his, they will be champions. Young says that he is the foundation, the lifeblood, and the gatekeeper of TNA. Honestly, I can't really debate that. Young is bold enough to ask Steve Maclin to join the ranks of the Northern Armory, but he is nowhere to be found. So we probably found a new little feud coming along here. So yeah. Mustafa Ali interrupts an AA meeting to deliver a message to Mike Santana. Not really sure what comes out of that one, but the System's JDC collides with Leon Slater, getting the dub. JDC obviously, with the flying forearm, Slater soars over the corner turnbuckles, crashing into JDC on the floor. JDC slams him on the chair to gain control and continues the assault with the kendo stick. Slater puts him through a table with the Swanton 450 from the top rope to the outside. Slater goes for the pin, but the rest of the System get involved, putting Slater through the table. JDC obviously scoring the win off of some BS. Terrible. Absolutely terrible, The System, looked to add insult to injury. When the TNA World Tag Team Champions, the Hardys, try to stick up for a friend. Then the NXT Champion, Oba Femi, crosses the line to even the odds. Femi single-handedly takes out the System as the X Division Champion moves retreat. Which is pretty badass. Director of Authority Santino Morella announces next week on Impact it will be the System versus the TNA World Tag Team Champions, the Hardys, and the NXT Champion Oba Femi in a 6-man tag match. Super badass. Can't wait for that. Tessa Blanchard is going to be in action for the first time in 4 years. Cool. Just kidding. No, but she has to wrestle or she's fired. Knockouts World Champion Masha Slamovich is out, and she tells Blanchard that she hopes she isn't fired until she gets a chance to brutalize her. Slamovich offers to face Blanchard's scheduled opponent tonight, and it is on. Obviously, Knockouts World Champion Masha Slamovich takes on Mila Moore, kicking ass after the match. NXT's Cora Jade attacks Slamovich from behind, taking her out with Jaded. Jade goes face to face with Blanchard on her way up to the ramp, maybe potentially heading up to a triple threat match. That would be pretty damn cool. Heading toward Sacrifice March 14th. That would be pretty badass. Director of Authority Santino Morella and the liaison between NXT and TNA, Ariana Grace, announced that on March 14th at TNA Sacrifice it will be Knockouts World Champion Masha Slamovich defending her title against NXT's Cora Jade. So that's going to be a good one. Can't wait to see what that is all about. Ryan Nemeth announces that his big brother Nick Nemeth will return from suspension in 22 days at TNA Sacrifice. But I think, didn't Nick, I feel like Nick participated in that Abu Dhabi, not in Abu Dhabi, but I think it was Saudi Arabia. I think they were doing like a wrestling event out there, and he was doing that. So I think that's the reason why he's taking some time off. TNA World Champion Joe Hendry and Elijah obviously defeating the Colognes. Not really, everybody kind of knew that was going to happen. I do love Joe Hendry though. Would love to see him on WWE NXT once again. But what he's doing on TNA is actually pretty damn badass. So all in all, I feel like that's super damn cool. All right, running short of this segment, let's go and blast on through some Ring of Honor Club. We had Wheeler Yuta defeating Fuego de Sol. Abaddon defeats Rachel Ellering. The Outrunners, Top Flight, and the Von Erichs defeat the Frat House and the Premier Athletes. Billy Starks with Athena gets back into the win column, by defeating Hyun. Commander defeated Lee Johnson. The Gates of Agony defeated Exodus Prime. Hechicero, Barbaro, Cavernario, and Soberano Jr. defeated Sammy Guevara, Dark Panther, and Fuego. Also during the show, a video package airs of Women's Television Champion Red Velvet. Obviously, you can check that out online. What other highlights do they have here? No, that's pretty much it. But yeah, make sure you guys check out some Ring of Honor. Make sure you guys check out TNA Impact as well. Thursday night wrestling review. Usually I do it on Fridays. But, since I'm, only live one day a week, choose to share it with you guys today of all days. All right, so without further ado, let's go and move on to our fourth segment. We got Michael Cole on Impaulsive. Obviously, that's the podcast hosted by Logan Paul. We're going to talk about that when we come back. So grab your favorite snack, grab your favorite ice cold beverage. Join me here in about 20 seconds. So, hey, do not go anywhere.
For the best and latest podcasts available anywhere, go to the podcast app on your cell phone and type in GSMC to access free content-rich podcasts on health and wellness, book reviews, sports, entertainment, relationships, social media, movies, technology, finance, and even weird news. Subscribe and download the GSMC Podcast Network's family of shows, available everywhere podcasts are found.
And we are back with the GSMC Wrestling Laureate podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. I'm your favorite wrestling fan here, Eric Rodriguez, every Monday night live on the GSMC Sports Network, 8 p.m. Pacific Time, 11 p.m. Eastern Time. We're here to talk about the greatest thing in the world, professional wrestling. We talk about all the action inside and outside the ring, backstage curtain calls, all the rumors, all the drama. We talked about inactive statuses, injury updates. We talked about contract negotiations, extensions, and new signings amongst WWE, AEW, basically every wrestler out there. We talk about promotions from Ring of Honor, TNA, New Japan Professional Wrestling to Stardom, to WWE, to TNA, to AEW. If it makes major news in the world of professional wrestling, we talk about it here on this show, 1,010%. Always got to remind you guys to go ahead and Superman punch that like and subscribe button to the show so you guys can get some cool notifications when we publish some videos. So, make sure you guys stay in the fray. Make sure you guys continue to send those comments, those chats, anything you guys say will be talked about, will be featured on the show. So can't wait to hear what you guys have to say. All right, without further ado, we're going to talk about some Michael Cole, legendary WWE announcer on the Impaulsive podcast. And I got to be honest, I did watch this. It was about an hour and 20 minutes. It's about an hour and 20 minutes, Michael Cole, Logan Paul shooting stuff. And it was pretty cool. It was definitely pretty cool. Michael Cole obviously, was getting a little bit of baggage, saying that, he was being replaced because of everything that happened in between Tiffany Stratton. And Logan Paul flat out said, he blamed Michael Hayes backstage, who started the rumor between, Tiffany Stratton and Logan Paul, saying that, hey, you were hitting on Stratton. Ooh, busted. And that wasn't really the case. And then now the whole thing between, Logan Paul and Ludwig Kaiser. And, Logan Paul obviously reiterating, basically saying that, hey, dude, honestly, I'm not here to hit on girls. I'm not here to try to get laid. I'm here to win, dude. I want to win gold. I want to be somebody in WWE. I want to be somewhere in 20 years in a business that, quite frankly, I've been absolutely prepping my whole entire life for. In the interview, he actually told Michael Cole that he was a YouTube stuntman. Bam! At the end of the day, that kind of stuff, perfect for WWE right there. So I thought that was kind of funny. Michael Cole also, he did, praise Logan Paul for everything that he's done inside the ring, saying, and I quote, he's never really seen anyone take to wrestling as fast as you did, obviously referring to Logan Paul. And Logan Paul obviously bringing up the fact that, he has a lot of heat. He does receive a lot of heat from the WWE universe. And, it's kind of crazy. For me, in my opinion, honestly, I do believe that, a lot of people probably, they don't like Logan Paul. They don't like him. I don't think the WWE universe truly believes that Logan Paul sucks. I don't think that at all, whatsoever. I feel like it's because he's really, really good. It's really, really good that it drives them absolutely freaking nuts. Is because, this guy came from basically, doing stuff with his brother. He does this, this BS YouTube channel. I'm not crapping on it or anything like that, but I'm just, trying to keep it real here. From, playing both sides, devil's advocate here. He's doing these BS videos with his brother. They're trying to pretend like they're boxers. They're trying to pretend like they can handle what the athletes have. They can, try to pretend what it takes to be a WWE superstar or what it takes to be a professional boxer. And at the end of the day, they're great. They're absolutely great at it. I do fancy myself some Jake Paul. I feel like he's great. Logan Paul inside the ring. I know he was trained from the phenomenal one, AJ Styles. You see a lot of AJ Styles inside Logan Paul. So for me, I don't get the fact that a lot of people hate watching Logan Paul matches. Look at what happened last Monday Night Raw in the main event against Rey Mysterio. Rey Mysterio against any opponent. Seth Rollins, Drew McIntyre, CM Punk, Jey Uso. Yeah, the list goes on and on and on. They would have just, it would have been like a 5-7, not even that much. I think it would have been like a 5-minute match. Bam. But Logan Paul made Rey Mysterio, and I feel like Rey Mysterio did the same thing, vice versa. They both made each other look really, really damn good. They had an amazing match where they left it all out inside the ring with wrestling moves, luchador moves, with high flying, a lot of reversals and pins. I feel like they brought the best out of each other last week on Monday Night Raw, where Logan Paul got a spot inside the Elimination Chamber, and I feel like the Elimination Chamber is actually a lot richer because Logan Paul is inside it, and he's going to do some crazy stuff. You're going to see, I guarantee you, I'm going to give you the Eric Rodriguez guarantee that during the match there's going to be something like crazy that Logan Paul does, and the fans are going to go, holy, like I believe in Logan Paul. I definitely believe that 1,010%. But then Logan Paul went to praise Michael Cole. He says that Michael Cole's job is absolutely 1,010% important. And Michael Cole had this to say. He said, and I quote, "We're not professional wrestling anymore. Netflix obviously took us for entertainment purposes. Great superstars to fan connections. Obviously, they need the emotional manipulation, but most importantly, storytelling. He says he's a storyteller. I'm not an announcer. I'm a narrator. I'm a storyteller. I'm a pitch man. I'm a play-by-play announcer. Some aspect. He creates characters, and I agree with that 1,010%. That's something about wrestling. There's something about Logan Paul even asked Michael Cole, he's like, hey, honestly, if the roles were reversed, if you were in UFC and NFL, Major League Baseball, NBA, would you be able to still kind of bring the same funk that you do to professional wrestling? And Michael Cole, he kept it straight. He was like, you know what? No. WWE matches, they're predetermined. I have my notes about what's going to go on. That's how I can effectively make people fall in love with this person. The ways that I can be an absolute storyteller, a pitch man, not so much of an announcer, a narrator, creating narratives, helping these superstars become something that, not just inside the ring, it's something you represent on social media, like a brand. And Logan Paul said that as well. That's something that WWE does so damn well. Is not so much as, you look inside the NFL, you look inside the NBA, and you have people, they're playing for the team. Obviously, I might be comparing apples to oranges here, but you can't really make your own brand like you do in WWE. And they should do it. They should do it 1,010%. WWE stars, ever since the implementation of social media, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, whatever, you're your own public relations representative. You can literally post whatever you want. You can keep kayfabe. Some people do, some people don't. Fair enough. It all works out. But at the end of the day, you can earn yourself something on the side. You can do your own endorsement deals if you wanted to. Before then, man, people were calling Vince McMahon to be like, hey, can we, I would love to sign a Reebok commercial for The Undertaker. And it'd be like, nah, don't get out of here. I don't want Mark Calloway distracted here. He has a job to do. Now they can just be like, yeah, sure. Where do I sign? If it doesn't affect what I do in WWE, then it's all gravy. It's crazy. It's crazy. Michael Cole was talking about, nowadays, and something that I've honestly did kind of pick up on with modern day WWE announcers. It's not so much about telling, talking about move by move. A left kick with a DDT. He hits him with a snap suplex. He's going up to the top rope, elbow drop. You know what I mean? Like, it's not so much as that anymore, and I've definitely noticed that. It's about the superstars. It's about the overall show. It's about the overall product. And Michael Cole, he's been one of the best at it. He's been absolutely one of my favorite announcers. And for me, announcing is obviously I have a huge I want to pursue a career in like a play-by-play announcer. Obviously WWE would be pretty badass, but like, for the Angels, for the Rams, whatever, radio or whatever, you think about top tier announcers. There's a lot of top tier announcers in the NFL, for example. Troy Aikman. Honestly, I feel like Joe Buck makes Troy. I'm just kidding. No, but Joe Buck, absolutely phenomenal. I miss him. See, this is something as well. Something that the power of announcing could bring you in terms of wrestling, like Jim Ross. Jim Ross, in terms of professional wrestling, he honestly, the way he talked about wrestling, the way he was really into it, you felt like you were sitting right there in the front row. The way he was just so passionate about it, the way he was basically like, if a superstar was spilling blood, you could like literally like you could see it from your eyes. The way he was the way he made words turn into like, it was just words into like concrete details in your mind that you're literally painting a picture of what he's saying, the words he's saying, the way he's kind of painting a picture, and it's art. It's absolutely 1,010% art. The things that Jim Ross does, the things that Michael Cole does. Like, think about it. Like I was saying, like, announcers are so powerful. Look at the World Series, Major League Baseball. Yes, it's cool. It's awesome. I do like to fancy myself in a little World Series here and there. But guess what? I recently stopped watching the World Series. I did, and that's because I'm a huge dork. You want to know why? Because Joe Buck isn't doing it anymore. Joe Buck and John Smoltz. I thought they were absolutely 1,010% top tier announcers. Like, the way Joe Buck, he passes it to first, out number one, and then like it's just like the way you deliver the message is so damn important. So important to the product, so damn important to the success, so damn important to keep the fans in the seats, buying tickets, and at the same time also buying merchandise. Buying merchandise 1,010%. Also, look at Al Michaels and, Kirk Herbstreit. They've been receiving a lot of scrutiny because Thursday Night Football games, I got to be honest, lately, since Al Michaels took over since Amazon started the whole thing. They started it, 3-4 years ago, I think it was? Don't quote me on that. Not a lot of good games on Thursday Night Football. Not a lot. So Al Michaels was kind of like, the way he was talking, he was getting a lot of media scrutiny saying that, Al Michaels is getting too old. Oh, he doesn't care. He doesn't care anymore. He doesn't have a passion for football. You hate football. Football is America. You hate America. I'm just kidding, no. But it was just that kind of ridiculous kind of assumption, kind of that, I felt bad for Al Michaels when he made it to Prime. I got to be honest. You watched NBC, you watched Sunday Night Football, Al Michaels, and Chris Collinsworth. I love those guys. Sunday Night Football, it was so impactful. You have the Carrie Underwood starting, and it took a while for me to warm up to Mike Tirico. I got to be honest. But I do like him. I think he's pretty cool. But basically, all in all, just talking about how powerful, announcers really do. The way they have to be on top of everything, because you literally are the middleman between the fans and the talent and the product and everything that you see in front of the screen. You have to make the fans, essentially. You have to make the fans. So, Michael Cole, definitely 1,010%. I love him. I feel like he's, 1,010% super awesome. Then he started talking, about the balance between, romance and life in his marriage and stuff like that, which is pretty damn cool, which is, the way he's handling it with his wife. He's always been on the road. So, she doesn't really expect, more or less than that. That's just how it is. And she's a loving wife. They had kids at a young age, to the point where it's like, okay, let's grow them up. So then in our late 30s, early 40s, middle 40s, we can go out, and there's still 40s is young. 40s is young. That's an absolute perfect way to kind of create a regime, create a blueprint of how to raise a family, especially if you're living life on the road all the time, like Michael Cole, where, got to the point where he's been with the company for 28 years, only missed 3 shows that he was, scheduled to show up in. That's phenomenal. 28 years, only 3 shows. That's nuts. That's crazy. I got coworkers, man, that call off like 3 times a month. That's insane. So, you know, you got to admit the commitment. You got to admit the dedication, the passion of this man right here. The way that they were killing it on the podcast, I got to be honest. I'm like, man, I was already a huge Michael Cole fan. I'm a fan of Logan Paul inside the ring. And, I watched the podcast. And I got to be honest, I started watching more Logan Paul podcasts. And, he's pretty damn good at what he does. And, a lot of people, they get a little upset. But yeah, no, it's it was super cool. It was super cool. And then Michael Cole started talking about how he signed a new contract, brand new contract. I believe he said 8 years. I think he said for the next 8 years he's going to be with WWE. A highly elusive contract. He said that that under the new regime, under Triple H, Paul Levesque, Nick Khan, and Lee Fitting of ESPN, they really made him feel important. And it really, honestly, had to take this long to make somebody as prestigious, as amazing as Michael Cole to feel really important. I can crap on Vince McMahon all damn day. But, Michael Cole, keeping it professional, said that, you know what, I got to thank Vince for giving me the opportunity. He never gave up on me. So, me as a fan, I'm like, you know what, oh, what a piece of crap, man. That sucks. Michael Cole should have been, if it takes 20 damn years out of business, then you finally get a contract and you finally get your notice and there's that person that starts that slow clap in the middle of the staff meeting or whatever. And you're like, shit, like crap, man. Like, really take you guys this long? Like, come on, guys. Like, what the hell? So I thought that was kind of crazy. I love that. 1,010%. And, he was talking about how you can see it in the locker room with a lot of these WWE superstars, becoming a family, with a lot of them basically saying that they feel comfortable to create characters on their own. And, so it's going to be projected easier on the screen, which is great for the fans. Absolutely amazing for the product and its future heading forward, and especially with the Netflix era. So I feel like that's awesome. And then they started talking about Corey Graves. Corey Graves was brought up, the Corey Graves situation. Michael Cole saying that, it was about the trouble that he got in terms of social media. He meant to post something that was, thought-provoking, that was kind of, joking. But, I got to be honest, I'm not a huge Corey Graves guy. I kind of thought he was a jerk. There was an old WWE announcer who came from UFC. He did NXT. His name was Mauro Ronaldo? He was super damn cool. Corey Graves, it was speculated backstage, he was sending tweets how Mauro wasn't handling it great and how he kind of sucked. Mauro obviously suffering from he was bipolar. He was like a manic depressive and stuff like that. So obviously what he read online highly affected him to the point where he was he had to take some time off. It's kind of like working with that coworker, who is emotionally draining because they're such they're like a stickler. They're literally I don't know. I don't want to say negative, but it's I don't know. It seems like they're always not in a bad mood. Critiquing, being a piece of crap, maybe. I'm just kidding. No, but I don't know. I just feel like Corey Graves' mouth behind the scenes has gotten him in trouble a lot of the times back in, and now it's kind of coming fruition. Now, he was replaced by Pat McAfee with Michael Cole, which is better. Joe Tessitore, Wade Barrett on SmackDown, which is, better. I did not want to see Joe Tessitore and Corey Graves on NXT. But even when Corey Graves is on NXT, you don't really see him saying much things anyways. But all in all, it sucks for Corey Graves. Like I said, I'm not a huge fan of him, but, I feel, whatever. But I don't know. He did call Jim Ross. Michael Cole did call Jim Ross the best ever to do it. I definitely love that. He left off the podcast saying that I'm having the most fun that I've ever had doing WWE, and we don't have to basically talk about basically what they don't want to talk about, which is super cool. Obviously, Michael Cole still kicking ass, taking names in the WWE announce booth. Love him and Pat McAfee. I love Michael Cole with absolutely anyway. With Taz, JBL, Michael Cole was able to just kind of make a professional out of anybody. So if there's anybody that I love getting a lucrative contract, finally getting noticed for the accomplishments, finally getting noticed that everything that he's put inside the company, and it took 28 damn years. That's crazy. Yeah, honestly, shedding some light on some Michael Cole, one of the best WWE professional wrestling, honestly, sports in general, one of the best sports announcers in the whole entire world in the history of sports. Congratulations to Michael Cole. All right, guys, so hey, do not go anywhere. We got our fifth and final segment. We got Thunder Rosa humiliated by AEW. We're going to talk about the spot when we come back. So grab your favorite snack, grab your favorite ice cold beverage, join me here in about 25 seconds. So hey, do not go anywhere. And we are back with the GSMC Wrestling Laureate podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. I'm your favorite wrestling fan here, Eric Rodriguez, every Monday night live on the GSMC Sports Network, 8 p.m. Pacific Time, 11 p.m. Eastern Time, here to talk about the greatest thing in the world, professional wrestling. We talk about all the action inside and outside the ring, backstage curtain calls, all the rumors, all the drama. We talk about inactive statuses, injury updates. We talk about superstar contract negotiations, extensions, and new signings. We talk about promotions from AEW to WWE, the TNA to Ring of Honor. If it makes major news in the world of professional wrestling, we talk about it here on this show at 1,010%. All right, without further ado, let's talk about some Thunder Rosa. Thunder Rosa recently on AEW Dynamite. You know, it's been a while since we saw Thunder on Dynamite, and I got to be honest, I feel like I brought this up a couple of weeks ago, and it was, kind of crazy how it kind of, it kind of came in fruition. Just going to talk about it. Last Wednesday on AEW Dynamite, Thunder Rosa was placed in a really, really weird spot. Megan Bayne and Chris Statlander had a match where Penelope Ford got involved, and Chris Statlander picks up the loss. But AEW, I get it. I get it that you're trying to build up Megan Bayne as one of the biggest heels in AEW. With Penelope Ford getting involved, Thunder Rosa sporadically comes out to the rescue, but what happened in the ring was absolute garbage. It was really bad. It was pretty bad. A lot of wrestling media, including me, I got to be honest, the way I saw it, I knew right away that something was wrong. And in terms of professional wrestling, you kind of need a little bit of professionalism from the superstars inside the ring. And, I saw it from Thunder Rosa. Not so much as Penelope Ford or Megan Bayne. Like I said, I'm not too sure what was happening backstage. Politics, maybe that they, went off on their own tangent there. Or maybe it was something that Tony Khan told them, like, hey, like, you don't have to do this. You don't have to do that. I told Thunder to do this. And, she's not listening. Bam. That's what happens. That's what you get. Maybe sabotage, but it was definitely one of the worst, like, babyface run in with like a steel chair or like a rescue attempt in professional wrestling or in AEW history. It was awful. It was terribly awful. Thunder Rosa runs in with the steel chair. The heels at this point, are expected to. They were expected. What you do in that situation, you're expected to cower away. You're expected to run away. Kind of have like a, kind of like an, oh my God, we're gonna get hit. We're gonna get a hit. We're gonna get slammed here. So let's, kind of run away and kind of be laughing and smiling down the ramp. But it was awful. It was crazy. And the main part of all this, I got to be honest, Ford and Bane, is the main thing that the AEW want to take us away from this, where you kind of had Thunder Rosa with the chair, like I'm gonna do it. Man, you move. No, I'm gonna do it. Like, is that really what they wanted us to think in AEW? Like, are you serious right now? Like, did people want us to believe Penelope Ford and Megan Bayne were complete badasses? Is that what they wanted? Or did they thought that, Thunder Rosa was be like, oh, you know what? She has that, like, in the ring, self-turmoil, which is like, you know what? I'm not going to hit you with the chair. I'm not going to stoop down to your level, so I'm not going to swing. But it wasn't like that whatsoever. And you could totally tell from the body language, all the nonverbal cues was, like I said, it was just awkward. It was bad. It was very uncomfortable to watch, and it made Thunder Rosa look kind of stupid. And it's crazy. And I feel for Thunder Rosa. She looked confused. She looked absolutely confused. She felt contemplated on swinging, like, for the miscommunication inside the ring, and that the fact that Megan Bayne and Ford did not want to sell it. They did not want to sell it, which is against the rules of professional wrestling. You gotta keep kayfabe. You gotta respect your other superstars, and you gotta do it. And if you're not gonna do it for yourselves, do it for the fans. Do it for the show. Bayne and Ford obviously made Thunder Rosa in her return to AEW Dynamite look absolutely stupid, omnipotent, like she was basically the young, unexperienced wrestler. She spent too much time in the podcasting booth with Bully Ray Dudley and Mark Henley to be considered as a wrestler anymore. And it's just awesome. It was just awful, absolutely awful. And all the, she came out all nonchalant. And even after that, Ford grabbed the chair. She grabbed the chair from in like a weird, like, little, like, I don't know, she willingly, like, grabbed it. Like, she grabbed it. Like, like I was talking about before. Like she was a 6-year-old, like, in the playground. She grabbed the dodgeball of, Thunder Rosa was like, I'm going to hit you. And, like, she's like, no, you're not. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it was just so awkward. It was so damn awkward. And like I said, I get it. You want to make Bayne the total heel, the total badass. But Penelope Ford stood in front of Megan Bayne like she was the badass. And it was just, I don't know. It just looked awful. It looked absolutely awful. And it got to the point where when Penelope Ford was trying to grab that chair from Thunder Rosa, Megan Bayne was put in a perfect spot where she had an open attack on Thunder Rosa. I bet even Thunder was like, all right, okay, so this is what we're doing. Okay, so then she was like, all right, I'm going to get beat down by Megan Bayne right here. This is the heel. This is what's going to happen. And it didn't happen. It never freaking happened. Megan Bayne should have attacked. She was being a true heel. She should have attacked. And then you got Ford, you got Bayne. They finally make their way to the front after the referee had to make a step in, after he had to basically be like, all right, you had to come in. I felt bad for the ref, too. I kind of felt bad for Chris Statlander, too. He was just kind of laying there. She's like, oh, my God, what's going on? Like, why is this happening? And, oh, God, it was just awful. And then, she throws the chair on the ramp out of frustration. I can only imagine how pissed off Thunder Rosa was, But then again, it could have been a miscommunication. And, it's all fair. It's all fair in love and war. But I don't know. That was just really, really bad. There were so many spots. And Thunder Rosa really honestly gave those two girls so many open opportunities to be like, even if it was botched, even if it was a miscommunication, she gave them so many openings to make it right, and they didn't. And that's why it made a lot of, wrestling media believe that maybe, she was set up. Maybe Thunder Rosa is being sabotaged from AEW. Maybe Tony Khan, we've seen it happen with Sammy Guevara. We've seen it happen with, CM Punk, with Ricky Starks, which, Thunder Rosa was super happy. She purveyed, she actively, she publicly let it known that she was happy that Ricky Starks signed with NXT. That could have been, super freaking bad. But I don't know. It was just really bad. Especially with the women's division AEW, kind of like they didn't really need this. They had an absolute amazing banger of a match for the AEW World Women's Championship between Toni Storm and Mariah May at AEW Grand Slam Australia. And then just for something like this to happen, like, dude, you're killing all the momentum. But it's okay. You know what I mean? Tony Khan just assumes if Mercedes Moné has all the titles, everything is just fine and dandy. I'm just kidding, though. But I don't know. And like I said before, AEW has cut down production meetings, and look what happened. You have an awkward meeting inside the ring. I don't know. It was it was crazy. It was just absolutely awful. Is Tony Khan really being a little bit scandalous here? Is he being a little bit what is the right word? What is the right word? I don't want to say fruitful. That sounds a little weird. Is he holding a grudge? Petty? Is he being petty? Obviously you have Bully Ray, a part of LFG, WWE, Tommy Dreamer, TNA, obviously part of this new partnership with WWE. You have Mark Henry, recently seen in WWE audience, and it seems like his son is going to wind up there. And I don't know. It was awful. Very, very awful. I feel bad for Thunder Rosa. Like I said, out of frustration, she threw the chair on herself. And, the fact that she, and this is another reason why a lot of people do speculate that it was a setup to make Thunder Rosa look really stupid, is that Thunder Rosa threw the chair. Chris Statlander was still down. You had Ford, Bane, could have honestly had a 2-on-1 assault. Bam, once again, Thunder Rosa leaving it open for like something to come about this. But, it didn't really happen. You had Thunder Rosa remaining, professional. And, back in old school WWE, you had Stone Cold Steve Austin, you had The Undertaker, you had a bunch of wrestlers that was like, you know what, I don't want wrestling to seem that fake, I guess you can say, or that choreographed. So if you don't duck from this big boot, you don't duck from this clothesline, you don't duck from this chair shot, guess what? You're going to get tattooed. I let you know. You choose whether to hear me, you choose whether to listen, whatever happens. If you don't move out of the way, if you don't act accordingly, guess what? You're gonna get bam, done. And Hardcore Holly was really big on this in WWE. A lot of WWE wrestlers coming up said one of the greatest matches that they've ever had, one of the most roughest superstars was Hardcore Holly, because he was like, you know what? We can't BS them, the fans. We can't BS them that much. They're smarter than they look. Everybody knows. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like that. So Hardcore Holly was able to, dude, I'm going to hit you. I'm going to slam you on your head. The Alabama slam. Bam. I'm going to drop you on your head and with a brain buster. I'm going to hit an elbow from the top rope, and I'm going to hit you right here in the sternum. You're going to come out with a bruised rib if you don't protect yourself. One of the, obviously old school professional wrestling, it's really honestly not like this now, but I don't know. It's once, Hardcore Holly basically said, honestly, it's not personal. Basically, it's just business. But I don't know. It's insane. People, like I said, people know that wrestling is choreographed. If it looks really bad, if it looks bad in professional wrestling standpoint, back in the locker room, people kind of view it as an absolute disaster, as it's the most awful thing in the whole entire world, because they are performers, they are professionals. When you go inside a wrestling ring, wrestlers are, they have one job. Is to protect the wrestler on the offense. Their job is to protect the wrestler on the defense, and vice versa. If you're a wrestler on the defense, you have to protect the wrestler on the offense. Look at what happened with JD McDonough when he did that backflip off the top rope and bruised his lung. Ivar was supposed to catch him, but his I think I saw his legs got caught up, or he tripped or something like that. And then bam, that's what happens. And and it's not good. It's not good. It makes it look it hurts the superstars. It's bad for TV. It's not good. But it did look, JD McDonough's move did look pretty freaking badass. And like I said, I'm not encouraging, wrestlers to injure themselves for our entertainment. But I thought that was actually, I was like, dude, JD McDonough's a badass, dude. He's a total dog, man. Total dog. So like I said, is it, Tony Khan, punishing Thunder Rosa after everything, with the whole, her getting injured and everything that's going down with the Busted Open podcast, which is mainly like WWE circulated, around that kind of content and media. Will Thunder Rosa find herself in WWE one day? I feel like that would be a good spot. I wouldn't be, upset about it. Right now, she's making $500,000 a year. I think I read somewhere that her contract is year by year. Don't quote me on that. But, I don't know. I just, you never want to do that to a talent. You never want to make them look stupid or omnipotent, or you never really want to humiliate them in front of their peers, because that's just bad morale. That's one of the reasons why Cody left. That's one of the reasons why CM Punk left. And then ever since then, I don't feel like Tony Khan has the, like the environment backstage in AEW to be like, oh, it's okay to, undermine your peers unless it's okay with me. Like, you know what I mean? That's, it's not a good way to handle your business, Like I said, maybe a little bit too much personal than in terms in, as a professional aspect of it. But, no, Thunder Rosa, definitely, if you want to come make your way back to WWE and kick some ass, you can definitely do that. Or, like I said, maybe I'm just talking out of my ass here. Maybe there was a huge miscommunication. Maybe Megan Bay and I found out before, the moment Thunder Rosa stepped back there, they're like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we don't really know what happens backstage. Maybe some, some news will come from it, maybe in today or tomorrow. But as of right now, it's all speculation, obviously. Wrestling fan, that's what we do. That's what we love to do. And we're going to continue to do it. Who cares? Let's go. Thank you so much for tuning into the show, guys. Hope you guys had a great time. Make sure you guys Superman punch that like and subscribe button to the show. Follow the show, follow the network, follow us on Twitter /X, Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook for more content and updates. And if I have not made you a wrestling fan by now, just remember we have all other sports podcasts on the GSMC Sports Network. So make sure you guys tune into their shows as well. Once again, hope you guys have an amazing, blessed week. I'm going to be uploading some content during the week, so make sure you guys, smash that subscribe button so you guys can get some notifications, some cool wrestling things. Make sure you guys comment. Absolutely 1,010% comment after the shows. We want to make sure what you guys have to say. Comment, maybe what you guys want me to cover in a segment. Should be pretty awesome. I will definitely want to hear from you guys 1,010%. So stay beautiful, but most importantly, as always, love you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Let's go. I wake up to a little bit of drool on my pillow, feel like it's gonna be a bad day. Yeah, I'm tired of shit, and the coffee ain't hit yet, damn, ain't that great. I don't wanna go to